Threats, hey, we hear them all the time, we see them all the time, but when is a threat a true threat? Well, that takes us to this week's case. It involves a real man, real woman, and the man's name, Ilanis. And Mr. Ilanis was going through a divorce with his wife, and then they became separated. And at one point in time, he went into a rant on the internet and said, basically, you're going to die, hurry up and die. Well, this came to the attention of some police officers, and they charged him through a prosecutor's office with a threat, a terrorist threat. He, through his attorneys, argued, wait a second, this isn't a true threat. This is just me mouthing off because I'm really ticked off. I'm going through divorce and I got pretty upset. Well, the case went forward. The DA argued, hey, this is a threat. And anybody that would hear this kind of language would view it as a threat. He, on the other side of the coin, said, no, it's not a true threat because I didn't intend it as a threat. And the standard that should be used as to whether it's a threat or not a threat is that did the reasonable person, when they made those comments, expect someone to view them as a threat? On the other side of the coin, the prosecutors argued, no, the reasonable standard here is an objective standard, and if anybody heard those words, would they view them as a threat? So, guess what? The U.S. Supreme Court gets to decide this case, The decision probably won't be announced possibly until as late as June 2015. But we're bringing you this case today so that you understand what arguments are made when it comes to what constitutes a threat, what doesn't constitute a threat, and particularly when it comes to online blogging. And what are you saying, and can you anticipate that somebody is going to view those words as a threat? The big issue, as we can see, is what standard applies, and that's why the U.S. Supreme Court is going to step in on this case and make that decision. But until the decision's made by the U.S. Supreme Court, we've got these two standards. One saying, is it a true threat? Did I subjectively mean this to be a threat? If somebody heard it, would they think it's a threat? And on the other side, the objective standard that says anybody who hears these words would reasonably view them as being a threat. Well, guess what, folks? You know, an easy way to avoid all of this and possibly an indictment is not to rant and rave on the internet, and not to say anything you really don't mean. And even if you're really ticked off and really angry, that may not be the time and place to go to the internet and make various comments. All right, we bring you this case as we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.